Hey there, it's BoardGameDave. So this past weekend, I was in Philly for PAX Unplugged. Now, I am a huge fan of that convention. I've been going every year since 2021, and this was the first year that I wasn't there for the full 3 days. I was actually just there for Saturday, but we packed a lot of fun and gaming into that one day. So today I thought I'd just kind of guide you through my day at PAX Unplugged on Saturday, starting with getting there around 9 o'clock to get my badge, and then the expo hall doesn't open till 10, so I kind of wandered around the game library and the free play area and sort of just checked out what was going on to get my bearings. And then my friend Phil was texting me about playing Railroad Tiles. We had planned to do that Saturday morning. So Railroad Tiles is the sequel to Railroad Inc., which Hannah and I really like. Now, this is a roll and write game. Railroad Tiles, as the name implies, is a tile drafting, tile placement version, essentially, of Railroad Inc. with these little tokens that you place. Very fun. So Phil taught me that game very kindly, and then I met up with my friend Marcus as well. And then after that, my friends Gary and Connor and Jill were around, so I met up with them and we kind of wandered around the expo hall for maybe an hour and a half. I'm not exactly sure, but kind of checked out what was on display. Nothing really caught my eye. There were some odds and ends here and there, but no games really stood out. I did really enjoy the Tabletop Tycoon area. Of course, Everdell, that whole franchise, has a great presence at conventions. They used to have the big Everdell tree. Now they don't, but they've got the Far Shore and the Silver Frost, and they were even showing some Emerland stuff, and I was like raving about Emerland, which I will tell you more about as soon as the Kickstarter launches, by the way. So I do have some content for Emerland, but I'm waiting till the Kickstarter launches. All that to say, didn't spend too much time in the expo hall. Mostly we were just anxious to start gaming, so we went from there, headed up to the first look area. Again, nothing super crazy that caught my eye. I mean, there were a few very unique looking games, but overall, they looked fine. Ada's Dream looked really good. There's a game called Orlage, I think, maybe. I don't know how to pronounce it, but that looks very good as well. And then we found a table in that same hall and started gaming. And that's what we did from like 2 p.m. maybe, all the way through till midnight. So we just gamed, and it was fantastic, and it was great. So what I want to do is just tell you my favorite games, tell you all the games that we played in order from least favorite to most favorite that we played that day at PAX. All right, so we'll start with my least favorite game I played at PAX, which was also the last game we played that day, and that was Paint the Roses Deluxe Edition. Now, this was pitched by my friend Connor as a deduction game, and I'm already like, oh, this is not usually my typical cup of tea. It's also cooperative, which was not my favorite. So I had low expectations going into it, but essentially there are these, each person has this card that has an easy, medium, or hard criteria on it, like pink touching pink or spades touching clovers, which will make more sense when you see the pictures. And you are trying to guess what card these people have, and on your turn, you take a tile and place that on the board, and you see if all players see if that new tile meets any of the criteria on their card, and then you have to deduce what each person has. And it even comes with a pad of those logic puzzle grids so you can keep track, and then you need to know the order that the tiles came out and who placed each tile, and there's like infinite information that you can try to keep and write down and reference, and it just is not my cup of tea. I see the appeal, but not a game for me. My 8th favorite game from PAX was 10 from Ivy Studios. Now, this is a brand new 2025 release. My friend, I think, bought it while he was there. He had demoed it and played it through one time and then was teaching us. Now, we played at 5 players, 4 of us naturally playing for the first time. You are doing farming and tending and livestock management and fishing and chopping and mining on this alien world is the theme of the game. And there is a lot going on. It was a fairly heavy, involved teach. The round breakdown is pretty straightforward, but just all the different actions and mechanisms and rules and combos that you can do. It's essentially a roll and flip and scratch and write and drawing and row filling and kind of contract fulfillment and engine building. It's so many things wrapped up. It reminded me in a very, very distant way of The Anarchy, which is another one of those flip and write games where they went totally next level. You've got physical components and coins and, 2 huge sheets of paper that you're kind of cross-referencing. It was kind of like that. And it was a lot and it was long and it was okay. I liked it, and I told Connor I'd be curious to play it solo because I think maybe that's where it would shine. There is almost literally no player interaction with, with your neighbors, much less people on the other side of the table. And it was fine. I think it just fell a little flat. All said and done, one small other critique I had was that, it takes so much time and effort and grinding to unlock these powers that make your chopping better or mining stronger, your fishing ability more productive, but you get it at the very, very end of the game, it feels like, at least, for our first play. So, yeah, it's curious and I'm intrigued by it, but it wasn't at the top of the list. My 7th favorite game was the brand new 2025 reprint of Botswana by Reiner Knizia. Now, this game is over 30 years old, but still merited a reprint, I suppose, because it's so simple, so engaging, so unpredictable. It's still holds up, I suppose, as this kind of market bidding, auction-y sort of game. I don't even know what the genre necessarily is, but essentially, if I can teach it in like 30 seconds, there's a bunch of animal meeples, and there's a deck of cards with each animal represented as like a suit, numbered 0 through 5. Okay, on your turn, you play a card and take an animal meeple. That's it. The card that you play determines the value for that animal. So if I play a 1 hippo and put it out, right, hippos are now worth 1 point each, and maybe I take a giraffe because I know hippo isn't valued very high, right? But then my next turn, Gabby plays a 5 hippo, right? And now she takes a hippo because she's hoping it'll be valued that high, and then someone can play a lion card, so on and so forth. And the round ends when one of the animal, stacks hits 6 cards. Round's over, you add up all the value of the meeples in your supply. That's it. So it's volatile. It changes all the time. It can sabotage other players. It's so easy to teach, but there's a little bit more depth behind it naturally. And I think it's great. It reminded me a little bit of like an extremely, extremely stripped down version of modern art, essentially, where you're toying with the value of these different things and trying to be the one, timing it perfectly to have the best valued things at the end of the round. So very clever. That was Botswana. Number 6 was another brand new game that our friend David taught to us. Came out this year. It's called Trinket Trove. In this game, you play as little mice who are collecting things from around this house, I suppose. Buttons and feathers and marbles and cute little crittery items like that. And it's extremely clever. I love the game design here. So you are collecting these cards and trying to make sets. And each set, marbles, feathers, what have you, has a different scoring criteria. But typically the more you have, the more points you get. Right? Pretty straightforward. The thing is, as you collect these cards are also the same thing you're using as currency for bidding for turn order. So it's just so great. So you take these cards that you worked so hard to get, you lay them out, you're spending them to get ahead and bid order. And the really interesting thing is that each round there's a market of cards that you're kind of bidding for, but also the cards that everybody puts in as their bid becomes part of the available market of cards to draft from. So it's just very, very clever to use those cards in a way where you're spending them, but also offering them to other people. And you know that people are collecting some of those different sets, and then you draft from them. Very, very clever. Very, very good game. I very much enjoyed it. It was cute. It was simple, but had a little bit more complexity under the surface, which I really enjoyed. My 5th favorite game I played at PAX was a very simple game called Flip 7. This came out last year, won a bunch of awards. It's a very simple card-based push your luck game. It's almost like blackjack, where you're trying to get unique numbers without busting. Super simple premise, but it is just immediately approachable and enjoyable by anybody, grandparents, aunts, uncles. Take to Thanksgiving. This is a blast. I actually bought a few extra copies to give away to people because it's that good. My dad loved it. His brother-in-law got a copy. It's been such a hit. So Flip 7, super fun. We played one quick round. It's first to 200 and it's just a blast. My 4th favorite game was a game called Nana, which means 7 in Japanese. This is also known as Trio in America, but this version, Japanese version, is very hard to find. And my sister, unbeknownst to me, got me a copy while she was in Japan recently and brought it back. So Nana is so adorable. First of all, the card art and the little cute critters is just the most adorable thing. But beyond that, it's just a very, very good sort of variant on Go Fish, kind of, but also with this memory element. You've got a hand of cards. You've got some number of cards on the table face down as well. And essentially, you're just trying to get sets of 3 cards by asking people to show you their lowest card or their highest card, or by flipping randomly from the table, right? If the cards don't match, they go back where they came from and the next person goes. It's that simple, but it's got, again, as with a lot of the games I'm talking about today, there's just a little bit more depth than that. I love lately, this has been a trend, I really like games that are very, very simple to teach and seem super straightforward at surface level, but then you play it a few times or you think about it, you're like, okay, there's a little bit more depth here. So it plays from 2 to 5 players, better with more players, and I love it. Nana's great. It's hard to find a copy, but get Trio. Same game, just different art and theme and whatever. So yeah, very, very, very enjoyable. Highly recommend. My third favorite game that we played is not a new game, but it's one I've been playing so much this year, and it's called Spicy. I first played this at Level Up Retreat earlier this year, 2025, and then Hannah got it for me for my birthday, and I've been playing it so much ever since. Taught it to the cousins that day and my siblings, and then I've been playing this and showing people constantly. It is such a good, no fat, what am I trying to say? It's just streamlined to the most fundamental bluffing mechanism. It's so good. There's 3 suits. You have to play cards in ascending order, and you play everything face down. So you can bluff as much as you can, or as much as you want, and the goal of the game is to empty your hand, kind of like Uno, right? So imagine Uno, but you can lie about what you're placing. So there's this whole element where you're just placing things face down, and you can either call out other people for their bluff or not. And the really interesting other twist of that is when you call somebody on their bluff, you have to either say it's not the number they claimed or the suit that they claimed. And I think that's just such a brilliant, tiny thing that's super easy to explain, but adds so much more tension to the game, because you say, oh, I know he didn't play a 7 wasabi, but which one is it? You say, oh, it's not a wasabi. And it's a 2 of wasabi. And you're like, I knew I should have said the number. It's just delightful. It's fun. It leads to those funny moments. So it's extraordinary. I love Spicy. I cannot recommend this game enough for, your family gamers, your casual gamers, your non-gamers. This is just brilliant. You should get yourself a copy of Spicy. I cannot vouch for this game more. My second favorite game was Railroad Tiles. So thank you again to Phil for teaching me this game. I really, really enjoyed the game. It takes a lot of the familiar and intuitive elements of Railroad Inc. and introduces the, again, tile drafting, arranging things in a spatial way, of course, and then each round there's different things you can score. So there's pedestrians and cars and trains, and you sort of put them in these scoring locations, and you want to get a whole bunch linked together. Again, very intuitive, very easy to understand, but really fun. And tile drafting and tile placement is just a very enjoyable, satisfying kind of game mechanism in general. So really enjoyed that game. It is now on my want to buy list. But my number one favorite game that I played at PAX Unplugged this past weekend isn't a terribly new game. It's not a big box, medium to heavy euro. It doesn't have fancy components. It doesn't have a deluxe edition as far as I know. It's a game from 2023 called Forest Shuffle. It's a small little box just full of a bunch of cards, and that's it. And I was so just charmed and intrigued and fascinated with this game that I bought my own copy since Saturday. And it's very, very, very good. So players have a hand of cards, and they have trees or critters or squirrels or birds or bugs or what have you, all these wonderful nature things. And the goal of the game is to, you usually start by playing a tree out into your tableau, and then around that tree you're placing deer and squirrels to the sides and birds on the top, and then, mushrooms and berries and things below. And you're kind of filling this tree with critters that match that environment or whatever. And it's just, so we only played it once, but I just found it so fascinating. So each card has 2 different critters on it, and they have, tags that you can sort of score off of, and they have instant bonuses you can try to get if you discard the right cards. And the cards that you discard go into a central kind of draw pile, which makes it available for other players and maybe yourself on a future turn to draw from. But once that central pile hits 10 or more cards, it wipes, which that itself is this huge source of angst as you see the card you needed the last 6 turns. It's there. No one's taking it. It's Gary's turn and then my turn. And then Gary, discards some cards into the middle pile. It wipes the whole thing and it's gone, which is just so frustrating. But it never feels punishing because you're looking at a hand of up to 10 cards and there's so much that you want to do because you can see the combos. Like if I can play this one, I get to play this one for free and it lets me draw a card and that would score me 8 points and then that tree combo would set off. Like you can see it happening, but you just can't do it all. Not to mention you can't make any progress in this game. You can't play anything without discarding things almost for sure. So which of these 10 cards am I willing to give up to play this red-tailed fox that's going to give me these points? It's great. I love the decision space. I could see how it could be a little AP inducing, but it feels fast. It feels quick. It feels, it's just something about it just really struck me as unique and engaging. And it's just, I haven't played a game quite like this. And I said, I have to get it. I have to play it with Hannah. I have to show her this game, which I'm going to do hopefully right now. So anyway, Forest Shuffle, favorite game from PAX. This was amazing. And there you have it. Those are all of the games that I played this year at PAX Unplugged. Now, I know this is not a normal PAX recap video. I didn't, demo any games. I was hardly in the expo hall. I didn't play a lot of brand new 2025 releases. And you know what? That's okay. I had a fantastic time at PAX. And just to bookend this video a little bit and just get a little philosophical with it, walking around the expo hall with Gary and Connor and Joe and stuff, it was fun and I liked seeing all the new shiny hot games and I'm sure they're fantastic and great and they captivate you and they just look so good on the table. But honestly, there were almost no games, like I said earlier, that really stuck out as, oh, I need to play this game. Covenant maybe being a slight exception from DeVere games, but beyond that, they looked fine and they looked fun and they looked very interesting. But I think in the back of my mind, I knew that I don't need any games. I bought no games while I was there because I have all these games at home, that are not new necessarily, but are great. Like I have Forest Shuffle now, right? Well, I bought that after PAX. But Modern Art, Moon Colony Bloodbath, Maracaibo, Great Western Trail. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Glass Road, Gold West, Castles of Burgundy. There's just so much out there. And maybe it's just, being inundated constantly with new games that sometimes very often are just a flash in the pan and nobody talks about them ever again. I just, it was nice to go to a convention and just prioritize gaming. And I find that very often my favorite conventions are the ones where they really value the gaming side of it and not necessarily, here's all the newest things and here's previews and things that are coming down the pike, but just, enjoying games with other people. And the funny thing, the ironic thing about this was that I was there, played almost every game with Gary and Connor, who are my main gaming buddies. We get together, every week, ish throughout the year. And it was so funny because we kept saying to each other, we didn't have to come all the way to Philly and buy a PAX badge and spend a crazy amount for parking to play games. We could just do this at Gary's house or my place. But it was nice to have a whole day devoted to gaming with a few other people that I don't get to see very often. And of course, seeing other people in the board game community. But even that, mostly we just hung out at our table and played games. And it was awesome. And I loved it. So anyways, all that to say, there are great games out there. You do not need to go chase the new hotness. Get yourself Flip 7, get Nana, get Spicy, play Railroad Inc., play old games. So anyway, those are my thoughts on PAX Unplugged, but it was a great time. I really had fun. So anyways, let me know in the comments if you have any questions about any of the games I talked about. If you want some more insights, I would be happy to talk about any of those games even more, or ask any questions about anything else entirely that you want to ask about. So in the meantime, I'm gonna head upstairs. I'm gonna hopefully teach Hannah Forest Shuffle and play this game. And you have a wonderful week. Take care and happy gaming. All right, take care. I'll see you later. Goodbye. It's so straightforward. I liked it, but it was very, very good. So bad.